Hello, it's the Abstractionist. I'm here for Uranus. Spring. It's about spring 2023. It was like, what year, what season? I'm using Starman Tarot and Astro Alignment deck. These things, it looks so bad when I be sitting here. Move this out the way. Maybe I gotta do like that, just a little bit. Trying to figure this shit out. I ain't gonna lie. So anyway, I did Saturn. I took a break. Wow, really? I did Saturn. I took a break, and then I started listening to a lot of music. A lot of music. If you don't know me, if you don't know me, know that I listen to a lot of different artists from around the world, particularly places in Africa, Asia, Latin America. Sometimes it's Europe, but if it's Europe, it's usually France, Sweden. It's never really Italian or Polish or something like that. But yeah, so I'm listening to new music and stuff like that. And so for you guys, as an inspiration, I would say this is more of inspiration, being inspired by different artists, art forms, but particularly artists. I think in this new phase for you, getting a Pinterest and adding to it a lot of your inspirations will help you perhaps process your emotions and thoughts and kind of what you're driving at in a more abstract form that's not so so concrete as far as definitions and things like that. It's a series of images. It could be book recommendations, like book covers. It could be anything. But I think that non-written, unwritten, just pure kind of visual cues will help you find inspiration, help you nail down some philosophies that you have, which is kind of funny because you would think the philosophy, well, I feel like the visual aspect kind of helps because it's not focused so much on a lot of words. It's more experientially sucking up that energy and embodying it. So get a Pinterest. Make a few more Pinterests if you have them. I have a bunch of a bunch of boards, but get a Pinterest. Maybe if your favorite artist, your favorite time period. I think just understanding your inspirations will help you kind of sift through a few of your, I don't say issues, but a few time periods where you thought this was attractive or you thought this was helpful or I don't know. I just feel like it'll help you with time travel. I say that Aquarius is about time travel, which Uranus rules. So there's that. So you may have picked, if you're, and this would, I kind of want to say study the biography of certain artists. There may be certain artists, people that you admire that will represent certain lessons on a very macro scale. And the idea of celebrity kind of shows us life on a more macro scale, lessons on a more macro scale, the more meta ideals and things like that you can see because it's glaringly obvious these are celebrities, right? Like, you may not notice it within your life, you may not notice it within others' lives, but generally you notice it within celebrities' lives because there's such an intense focus there, and there's an intense focus on there's an intense need to figure out where the unreliable narrator is, who is the unreliable narrator, and why there is an unreliable narrator. So I think there's a few celebrities that you may look up to, that they may have been child stars, that grew into their own. They could be singers, actors, I don't know. But they could be very quintessentially something. And you can pinpoint it to a color, a word, even a body language. There's something about what they portrayed at that time that encapsulates something. Their life, it's not that your life parallels them, as in like you took the same steps, but there may be certain lessons that, like, certain periods of their life that have been documented that you feel like resonate with you and you have very intense reactions to, whether it's in support of them or against them or disappointment in them. There's something about their experience that you feel perhaps deeply tied to, and as a result you could use those lessons to kind of self-correct for yourself. This could even be a celebrity that you genuinely don't like, because they represent some sort of aspect of life or visibility, propriety. They represent some sort of truth about society that you may not want to admit, or a certain truth about society that you know but you don't, that you grapple with and comes up very often, that you grapple with, like the underbelly of society, what society accepts, why there is an underbelly. This celebrity could like reflect that, and you don't like that, but that's something that you need to understand for yourself to bring down that lesson, because there's certain aspects of that, what you're feeling, that show up in your daily life. It's just on small scales, and you may not have such a big reaction to it. Yeah. And there is this idea of people having really big reactions to people who they're very far away from, because there's no real danger in having strong reactions for or against a celeb. You tend to, you don't know them, you've never seen them in person, you've never been around them, you've never spoken to them, so you don't know them well enough to really... It's easier to be, I think, black and white with someone that you're very removed from. I guess I'll say it like that. Being very black and white in your personal relationships, where it's very up close, the danger is very imminent. Your decision making has immediate consequences, and so you have to really temper yourself in a way that you wouldn't have to temper when you are exploring something about someone who is very far removed from your life. And that's kind of where you get people very recklessly online talking about stuff, because they're very removed from the situation. You may find out something very disappointing about a celebrity that you like. They may say something, they may do something, or they can make a drastic change, and there's just something about that change that you're like uncomfortable with. You have to explore that and why. A lot of people are really attached to celebrities. They're really attached to their life outcomes for some reason. But we all have celebrities that we follow and keep up with. Even if it's just like a book author, like people, we like to shit talk and trash talk like influencers and maybe like movie stars and like the celebrities that are famous for no reason. The reason is we keep following them and giving them access to our energy, but whatever. But there are celebrities who are like authors and artists who we follow and we exchange energy with our support or purchasing their items or supporting their whatever. So you may also have to clean up, I guess, who you watch or who you follow, who you decide to give your energy to. And I would think take stock of maybe who you follow or who you give energy to, and that'll show you some of your principles in life or some of the things that you've prioritized or some of the things that you deem important. And you may be like, you may be like, no, I don't deem this important. It's like, then perhaps don't follow it if you don't feel like it's important. And there may be some exploration of what you thought was important that isn't what you thought wasn't important, that is what you thought was important back then, isn't now, blah, 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 blah. But I kind of feel like it's more through celebrity things. It's more through celebrity news, people, places, things. We have Aries. That's too many at one time. I can't do all that. Planetary return. Virgo, Juno. This person, if that Juno could represent an ideal partner that you would like. But the way this looks is like an upside down. I'm focusing on like the upside down cross. So it could be a celebrity that's always breaking up with someone or has been divorced multiple times, which is like most people. Divorced multiple times. There could just be something about it. Okay, so what I'm getting is, if you are someone who intensely follows this person's relationships, there's something about that translates to your own relationships, and that you're possibly trying to escape, and as a result, it's not getting better. And I think once you solve the issue, 7th house, once you solve the issue, you'll actually, I guess, find this celebrity not as attractive anymore. It's almost like they're the embodiment of something. They're the embodiment of something that you're trying to figure out. Yeah, they're the embodiment of something that you're trying to figure out. It's not necessarily on the top of the list with that square, but it is something that comes up periodically and makes you uncomfortable, and it is time for a change with that. This person could have a strong Pluto. If you were to like look at their chart, they may have like a Pluto aspect or something that's interesting. So this could take some time to figure out who it is, but it's probably a celebrity that has multiple relationships, has had multiple relationships. Did you feel really strongly about their work, for or against? And those are some clues that perhaps can guide you in the direction of what you need to learn from who. And so you'll have to get really meta, I guess, with the lessons eventually, because this person is so far away, you can't really ask them all of these questions. But you'll start to have questions about things. You'll start to have questions about what you see as an observer of another person, and then you'll start to turn those questions to yourself as you experience your life and then observe your life to experience your life better. Okay, that's it, Uranus. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.